Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna install the main central stand for the Honda Transalp 750. I was waiting more than 2.5 months to receive it. Some people claimed at the beginning, when this bike came out, also when the first accessories came out, that the central stand had a small issue. It was not stable and it was somehow wobbling. So Honda took back some of the center stand and delivered them afterwards. I have to wait more than 2.5 months to receive mine. So hopefully this one will fit with no further issues. So let's start the procedure, the installation procedure, and we'll see how this will end.
Welcome back to a new tutorial. This time we're gonna install the main central stand from Honda. Here we have the mounting instructions. As provided in the past, you will have access to the installation instructions by downloading a PDF. I will put a link in the description with this procedure. So we have the main stand, which has this code 08M70 MLCD01. This is for the 2023 XL750 Transalp. Of course, you have the informations presented as they were also in my previous tutorials. Let's take a look at the parts list, what's provided in this kit. Actually, there's a main central stand kit. We have the main stand, which is the base part of this central stand kit. This is it, number one. Number two is the main stand shaft pipe. We have this spring plate, which will connect the springs to the main central stand. We have the two springs, spring A and spring B. Spring A, it's the one with the rubber and will go on top. We'll see later in the installation process. And then we have the socket bolt, the stand stopper rubber. This will be among the first parts which we're gonna install it. This stopper rubber will stop the central stand to hit your frame. Let's go further. You have the torque informations included in the installation, let's say in the service manual. We don't have it, but usually we're gonna use about 20 Newton meters maximum for tightening up this bolt, even less, because it's not necessary. We don't have high forces here. The spring actually keeps, the spring actually does most of the job by keeping the stand in tension. The first step, it's install the stand stopper rubber. This will be the first thing which you have to do. You have to soap up the hole where this rubber comes in to make it easier for you. It's not quite easy, but you'll see in the video that will follow this installation instruction manual. Here we see on the right side also how the stand looks on the motorcycle, and actually how each spring gets positioned. After you install this stopper rubber, the next step in our procedure is to apply molybdenum disulfide grease to the sliding surfaces of the main stand shaft pipe. We have these two pipes here, let's say we have these two brackets where we should apply the grease and also apply the grease on the pipe. You need to apply the grease also to the shaft pipe and also to these brackets where the shaft pipe goes in. Apply the grease. It's recommended to apply molybdenum disulfide grease. It's quite resistant and very useful, very efficient. After you apply the grease, you should apply the grease also to this bracket which connects the springs. Apply the grease everywhere, actually, everywhere where is friction. Then you put the spring plate on the indicator here. There is a place you don't have to, you cannot miss it. There is only one position where you can put it, like this, with the bracket downwards, so you can connect the springs, and the rest of the spring will be connected to this part which is positioned to the right side. This actually, it's the most difficult part, to stretch up the springs. We're gonna use one technique. You have to use either our technique or you can use your own technique. There are many other techniques, but this applied in our case in a nice way. So basically, this this is the, let's say, the theoretical part of installing the main central stand. Let's proceed with our video tutorial, so you have to check it out to see how we mounted the main central stand from Honda.
And here we have the package with the main central stand from Honda. Looks quite robust. It's thicker than I was expecting. Let's see its end position and how this end position affects riding, especially off-road. We're gonna see about that. The rest of the parts here, we have the axle. In this axle we have also a screw which will go in something like that. The bracket seems like a 4mm bracket. The first spring, which is longer. The second spring, actually the springs have the same length, only one it's coated with a rubber protection, and this rubber which will go inside here to protect the frame of the bike. And actually this is it. This is the complete center stand. These are the complete center stand parts. If you don't have a stand to rise up the bike and make this job easier for you, you can also do it without a stand to lift the bike. But of course, we are lucky. We are lucky to have this stand, which we're gonna use to lift the bike and make our job easier. Don't be discouraged if you don't have the stand, but it will definitely be harder for you to mount it. Another recommendation, it's to leave the bike to chill out, otherwise you're gonna have some burns on your skin. So leave the bike to chill out first, especially if you're ridden for a period of time. Leave the bike to chill out and then start the mounting procedures. We're gonna start by putting some water with soap inside this, so we can mount the rubber easily. This is fresh rubber, so you need to take your time even to fix it. Seems like it goes in, yes. And you will see a very free play. You will see a free play. It will rotate easily as soon as it completely went in. So after you put it in completely, you will be able to rotate it easily. So this is the first step. The next procedure is to lubricate the brackets, the bike brackets, the two brackets over here, this one and this one, before putting the axle. And also you lubricate the place where the axle goes in and the axle itself. So make sure you lubricate it, both the brackets of the bike and the rest of the parts. We're using a lubricant spray. You can use a solid grease also. This spray does its job also very good. Now we're gonna mount the stand in its position. Put the axle. Now it's in its position. Then you put the bolt. It's a 5mm HS1. Now we're gonna grease the bracket also before mounting it. Before putting the bracket, you can grease up also this this part where the bracket comes. And now we're gonna put this so-called bracket. It acts like a swing arm. This is the correct position how you're gonna mount it. And now comes the most difficult part, attaching the springs, because they are quite strong. Hopefully we're gonna have enough power to put them. The spring with the rubber will be orientated in the upper part. You need something to catch the spring and then loose it a little bit to be able to enter it in this bracket. We need a technique also because we're gonna scratch, I think anyway, this part, the upper part. So yeah, it's a challenging procedure. We're gonna try again with the zip ties. Hai să-l punem sus. Hai că uia, hai mă cu ea. Ăla-i mă. Yes, it really worked with this technique, with the zip ties. And the secret is to push the central stand as much as you can in the upper part. So one is holding the central stand in the upper position, and the other one can push the spring and mounting in its place. So the zip ties, they were very useful. We used 4 of them. This is one technique. Of course, you can use different tools, different approaches you can have for this mounting of the springs. However, the result is most important. Now we have the second spring. The second spring will push the first one with the rubber in the lower part, so they can be overlaid. We use the same. Hai să-l pun în sus?
Nu, că stă. Acum stă în arcul.
Da. Mamă. Ăla-i, ha? Ăla-i, mă.
Gata.
Yes, we did it. Now let's check it out. These are they are quite tough. They are quite tough. We're gonna mount also the bike on the stand. So this is actually the functionality so far. But man, this is very tight, and you can actually see the position. It gives some extra protection here for the swing arm, but the first will touch the ground, this one, in case of a fall. This is not very low, so you can check it out. It's actually a little bit upper than the skid plate, so for the moment it offers still the same ground clearance, so it's actually at the same level as the skid plate. We can also check the ground clearance also from the right side. You can check it out. It's the main stand doesn't affect the ground clearance. And yeah, this is the original center stand. Let's put the bike on and see how it fits, how it stays. And this is how the bike looks on the center stand. Now it's very useful if you want to loop the chain or you want to make a flat. The center stand, it's quite useful. You can check it out. Looks very solid, I have to admit. But it's also very well done. You can see the weldings here as a protection part, as a reinforcement part. Also here it's more tough in this area. Another tip or recommendation is after you wash it or after a dirt ride, make sure you clean inside of these brackets. You lube it, you clean and you lube it because dirt will be accumulated. You risk to have the rust starting directly from the axle, from the sliding axle points, and it's recommended both of these brackets. Try to lube it time to time, or every time you wash the bike, try to clean it and lube it one more time, and make sure you have a proper central stand for your bike. The main central stand, of course, adds some extra weight to the bike, but at least it's a lower position. The central stand has about 2.3 kilos maximum from my measurements. So we have an extra 2.3 kilos on the bike, but at least this one, it's a lower position. So we have a lower center of gravity now. We added 2 more kilos. So we have the rally pack, which has 10 kilos. And now the central stand with another 2.3 kilos, and we added an additional 12.5 kilos to the bike, and we're not even mounting the crash bar. So now we have 208 plus 12, we have 220 kilos, actually more than 220 kilos so far. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.